Welcome my friends, welcome back. It's 2019. Now before I start, I promised John that I would not prattle on, waffle on and be over the top. So I'm not going to do that. So today's episode 17. And I'm going to show you a little bit that we didn't film, and also I'm going to tell you what we're going to do for this episode. So without further ado, shall we cue that music? Right, so what we've got is we've got a little aluminium L right-angled plate that goes over the edge there and there, as you can see. And basically how I did that, we've lost the film where I showed bending it, but if
we haven't lost it. We didn't film it.
Oh yeah, we didn't film it, did we not film it? No, we didn't film it. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I stand corrected.
Thank you.
So we didn't film the... oh, that was the one I got bollocked, wasn't it?
It was indeed.
Ah, yeah, that's right. So basically how I worked that is, because it's aluminium and it's metal, it is soft, but the only way, and it's going to be difficult to describe how to do it, I used my knee and I slowly started to bend it ever so slightly all the way along. If you go too much, too quick, you end up with a little kink on the top surface or the bottom surface, as I found out to my expense. So little tiny bits eventually make it curved to the point where what you see is what you finish up with. The only difference that to what it was when I bought it to what it is now is that I drilled 4 holes in it and put some stainless steel screws in. I'm not over chuffed with them, but unfortunately I couldn't get that to stick because there was too much pressure and there was too much of a curve. So I've ended up with having to have some screws in it. And by the time the cushions go on, I think we'll be okay. You'll notice that there is a little bit missing. They only come in certain lengths, and I am struggling to find a colour match piece to go with it, but that's another story. Today's episode. If we can pan over to there, as you can see, we finished in 2018 up to about there, and now we're going to continue all the way along. And as you can see, I've put on the battens there all the way along. Those are the stainless steel screws. What I've decided to do with those is I've looked on YouTube and I've found that you can use something just as simple as Vaseline to smear over these just to protect them from rust or whatever. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to fiberglass them because if there's ever a leak and after the time that I've had it and it gets sold on, at least somebody's able to take them off and replace them without having to chip away at fiberglass. So that's what I'm going to do. As you can see, I've already started with the first layer of insulation, foil to the side of the boat, like so, as you can see. And then what I'm going to do, as I did with the front end here, I'm going to spray adhesive that and I'm going to sandwich it with the foil on the outside, so I've got a double layer. And then of course, as you well know, with the ply we then introduce the sound deadening on top of that. So I think all in all it'll all be good. So that's what I'm going to get on with. So let's get going. Okie dokie. So as you can see, I'm running the show again because he's jet setted off again. So apologise for the way I'm going to be to-ing and fro-ing to the camera, but let's get on with it. So anyway, what I've done, as you can see, nice neat job, is the battens are behind here, hidden behind this foil. We've got 2 layers on of, let me show you the roll. It's £9.49 for a roll of thermal oil, it's called, from B&Q. which is a UK DIY store for all those that are watching overseas. 7.5 metres by 60 centimetres, so there's 4.5 square metres in total there. I bought another couple of rolls because obviously I've done this side, I've got that side, and I've got the latter part of the kitchen and the bathroom section to be done. And of course we've got all this to do. So as you remember, we've got 2 long layers, and then I've gone down in sections. I'm not going to tape these up because it's a double layer, so there's no real air gaps as such. And I'm now going to put, I'll show you this, yesterday I T-coiled the oak ply. The only thing I've got to do with the oak ply is, well, in fact what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my little oscillating machine, and I'm just going to slice off an angle here. In fact, I've just noticed it's where I've pinned, typical, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to cut down here so it marries up with that, because I found it difficult to, it's easier to cut this than it is to cut that. And there'll be a little oak cover strip going over any part that you can see. So foil side to the boat. If you're doing it yourself, try and tack on the top and ignore the bottom. I've just found it easier doing it this way. I normally have these blades in the actual casing itself, but I find it easier, to be honest, using it like a scalpel. Not that I've ever been a surgeon. I find it easier to find your way along where you need to cut. There we go. Nice and neat. Sure, that was my fault. Oh, speak of the devil. Producer John. Should we call him Producer Git? I'm in 30-degree heat. Yeah, with his pointy beard. God, he just loves to rub it in. Okay, so that's layer 1, and then we'll sandwich the bubbles together. So we've got the foil on the outside with the next one, and I shall be going down in strips with this with the next lot. This is John. God, it is. Yes, okay, just bear with me 1 second. Sorry, this is the producer Git on the phone that's in 30 degrees. I do bear with me on this one, won't you? Can you hear me? Yes. Yeah, I've got you. Yes. I'm just currently on the boat, putting the first layer on. in this freezing cold weather, and I'm just putting the second layer of bubble wrap on the side of the boat, and currently filming it as we speak. Am I doing much prattling? Viewers, he's asking me if I'm doing much prattling. He's got a bloody nerve, hasn't he? Sat on a frigging beach. Sorry for that little interlude. Producer John decided to ring us, as you well know. But I will have to be careful what I say, because he will be editing all this. So, let's see. Shan't say a word. Well. So next phase is to go down like so. Oh, nothing in the can. I shall pause you. This is that sound deadening product. This has got the same sort of foil backing. Now I have masked that up with better than standard tape. It's not proper foil tape. It doesn't need to be foil tape, to be honest, because as I said to you over there, there's no air gaps over there anyway, and the only reason why you would use the foil is if this was the only thing that was going against the hull and the cold air. So there you go. As you can see, that is just one T-coiled rub over to start with. I have noticed as well that there's a huge difference in colour between this and that. It might be because this was ordered at a later date, and also this is about 5mm thick or 6mm thick, this part, whereas that was only about 3 or 4mm thick. The reason why I've gone for slightly thicker is because I don't want, as you accidentally knock against it, I don't want it just being or feeling flimsy. So I want it to be structurally that bit more solid. So there we go. So I'm going to use that cutting machine to start with, over on that section over there, and then we'll get cracking on putting that piece on. Okay, well, that went fairly easy. Said to you before, this sound deadening doesn't half make it nice and solid. You can see the difference in colour, but what can I do? But, gosh, there is a massive difference in colour. Like chalk and cheese, isn't it? Yeah, well, I don't quite know what to say about that. I'm not overly keen on it, but do you know what we'll do? There you go. So obviously that colour that you're seeing is the original colour of that piece of furniture. Why is that not showing there? There we go. That's the original colour. Obviously that's a hell of a lot lighter than that is, but with this in the way, it doesn't look too bad at all. Panic over. So you might be asking, what am I going to do with these? Well, I've kept these in this rather than smashing them up. I'm going to use them as templates, as I've probably mentioned in previous episodes. Some of them have warped. I would have liked to have used them again and maybe faced them up in oak. And I might still be able to do that. The door's warped and it's looking pretty manky in there. But I'll just reserve judgment on these to start with. But at worst, I can always use this as a template and cut my own pieces up and make my own. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm keeping those. And there's also a divider that comes up here and comes to about here. It's shaped quite nicely, which is also a divider. So yeah, no, I think all in all, it's from the angle. I mean, you can't see from where you're looking, but from my angle, it's looking. The two colours aren't as severe. So right, okay. Well, I shall crack on. Okay, so we're back outside again, and it's time for doing a bit of templating. As you can see, I've got a piece of the oak panelling out already, and I've just placed the amended template on top. So I'm just finishing off sticking it down onto the oak, and then we'll get cutting. So without further ado, let's get on with it. I'll just alter the camera so we can see everything properly. Okay, so as you've seen, I've just trimmed that off and I'm going to place it in the boat. Now, I can't see for 1 second it's going to fit perfectly straight off. So I'm going to leave the camera down here, I'm going to take that up there and see if it goes. If it doesn't, then obviously I'll trim it, but you don't need to see all that rubbish. So just wait there for a second. Everything will all be done the next time you see it, and we'll be placing it on the boat. Well, that was a turn up for the books. Put it on, fit perfectly. Get lining. Oh, actually, while we're at it, the camera can pick it up. Maybe I can do it for me and you can zoom in. That is what I'm using for the back of these oak panels. Okay, good. So you can get the gist of it. That's what I'm going to be doing. First of all, I need to seal the back of the ply, just as a precaution. Then when that goes off, we'll spray that down, so the next time you're going to see that, it will be finished. So I'll see you later. Okay, just before the battery runs out, because I forgot to switch that off. As you can see, it's all foiled up. I'm going to flick it over, give it a quick sand, and then start to put some Danish oil on, ready for tomorrow when we can put it on the boat. So that's what I'm going to do now. If it cuts out, it cuts out. I might save the battery, I might sand it and then show you what I do with it after that, which you've already seen before. Well, I found a spare battery, fully charged. John's got so much editing to do. So, final bit of the episode, I think, because he's definitely going to throw a massive wobbler, because I filmed this all in one day. It's probably more than 30 minutes. So he's going to go, look at all that time I'm going to be spending hours doing this, I'm going to be editing this. Mine, but it's 30-degree heat he's in. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Okay, well, to be honest, I think we'll wrap this episode up because I think we've done plenty. Just leaves me to say thank you very much for watching. I hope it's not been too boring for you. I'm sure he's going to edit quite a lot of it out, because he normally does. Please like and subscribe, and I shall see you next episode. So thank you very much, and bye for now.